Motivation is a lie, not a weakness in you, an actual lie you were sold. And every morning you wait to feel it, you are training yourself to need it more. You already know what you should be doing. That is the strange part. You are not confused. You do not need another plan, another app, another system. You know exactly what the work is, you just don't feel like it. So you wait. You wait to feel ready. You wait for the spark, the surge, the morning where it finally feels easy. And then you'll begin. Here is what nobody tells you. That morning is not coming. And every single day you spend waiting for it, you are training yourself to need it more. Because motivation is not the fuel for discipline. Motivation is what you have been using instead of discipline. So here is the question this video answers. If the feeling never arrives, if you never once feel like doing the hard thing, how do you do it anyway? And why is the man who never feels motivated often the most disciplined person in the room? Stay with me. By the end of this, you will not need the feeling at all. We have to fix a definition first, because almost everyone has it wrong. You think discipline is a feeling, a kind of internal iron, a hardness some people are born with and you were not. It is not. Discipline is a decision you made earlier. That is all it is. It is a choice you made in advance, so that the version of you who is tired and bored and full of excuses at 6 in the morning does not get a vote. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline answers, the question is closed. It was closed last night. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago. Epictetus told his students to decide first what kind of person they intended to be, and then simply do what that person does. Not what you feel like doing, what that person does. Now, 7 laws. Each one removes one more place for motivation to hide. Here is where you actually lose, not at the gym, not at the desk. You lose in the 90 seconds before, lying there, phone in hand, running the debate. Maybe I'll go later. I didn't sleep well. I'll start Monday. One day won't matter. That is not laziness. That is a negotiation. And here is the brutal truth about negotiating with yourself. You always lose. Because the part of you that wants to stay in bed is a better lawyer than the part of you that wants to get up. It is more articulate. It is more creative. It has better excuses than you have arguments. So the answer is not to win the negotiation. The answer is to refuse to hold it. The decision was made. There is nothing to discuss. You do not debate a thing you have already decided. You simply move. Discipline is not winning the argument. Discipline is not having the argument. The reason you cannot start is that you are looking at the whole thing, the full session, the finished chapter, the entire mountain. Of course you feel nothing. Of course you don't want it. You are staring down 45 minutes of discomfort from under a warm duvet. So do not begin the task. Begin the first 30 seconds of the task. Put on the shoes, open the document, sit on the mat. That's it. That's the whole commitment. Because here is what almost nobody understands about action. Motivation does not produce action. Action produces motivation. It is the wrong way round in your head. You think the feeling comes first and the doing follows. It does not. The doing comes first, and the feeling, reluctantly, grudgingly, about 4 minutes in, follows. You do not think your way into moving. You move your way into wanting to. There is a story 3,000 years old that solved this before we ever had a word for it. Odysseus is sailing home, and ahead lies the Strait of the Sirens, whose song is so beautiful that every man who has ever heard it has thrown himself into the sea to reach them and drowned. He wants to hear the song, but he does not want to die. So he does something extraordinary. He does not train his willpower. He does not tell himself to be strong. He does not promise himself he will resist. He has his men tie him to the mast, and he orders them to plug their own ears, and whatever he screams, whatever he begs, not to release him. And the song comes, and it is as beautiful as promised. And Odysseus goes mad with wanting, thrashing, screaming, begging to be cut loose. And the ropes hold, because he was never relying on his willpower. He was relying on the ropes he tied before the song began. This is the entire game. You will not resist the phone at 11 at night. Future you is weak, tired, and easily persuaded. You have met him, and he lets you down every time. So do not ask him to be strong. Tie him to the mast. Leave the phone in another room. Delete the app. Lay the clothes out. Cancel the subscription. Make the bad choice inconvenient, and the good choice the path of least resistance. You do not need more willpower. You need fewer decisions. Now here is the law nobody expects. The single greatest destroyer of discipline is not laziness. It is perfectionism. Watch how it kills you. You miss one day, and that one miss doesn't stay one miss. It becomes a verdict. See, I always do this. I have no discipline. It's over. And so you abandon the entire thing because of a single bad Tuesday. The miss was never the problem. The story you told yourself about the miss was the problem. The disciplined are not the people who never fail. That person does not exist. The disciplined are the people who have made missing once completely uneventful. They do not spiral. They do not narrate. They simply return the next day without drama. So make the rule this: never miss twice. Once is an accident. Twice is the beginning of a new identity. You are not avoiding the work. You are avoiding doing the work badly. There is a difference, and it is the reason you have not started the thing you have wanted to start for 2 years. Somewhere you decided that if you cannot do it properly, the full session, the great chapter, the perfect execution, then it does not count. And so, rather than do it imperfectly, you do not do it at all. Perfectionism is not high standards. Perfectionism is fear wearing a suit. So let this be the standard for the days when you have nothing. Do it badly. Do 10 minutes instead of an hour. Write the terrible paragraph. Lift the lightweight. Go through the motions with all the grace of a man wading through wet cement. Because the badly done session is not the point. The point is that on the day you had nothing, no energy, no motivation, no reason, you showed up anyway. And that is the only rep that actually builds the thing you are trying to build. Now we go deeper than tactics. You will not sustain a behavior that contradicts who you believe you are. You can force it for a few weeks. Willpower is real, and it works, right up until the week you are sick or heartbroken or exhausted. And then you fold because the behavior was never yours. It was a costume you were wearing. So the goal was never go to the gym. The goal is to become a person who trains, and then let the gym follow. And here is the part that is not philosophy. It is physical. When you repeat an action, the pathway in your brain that carries that signal is wrapped, a little at a time, in a layer of insulation. Researchers call it myelin. The more you repeat, the thicker the wrapping. The thicker the wrapping, the faster and cleaner the signal fires, which means the 10th rep is genuinely easier than the first. Not because you got more motivated, but because you physically rebuilt the wire. You are not forming a habit. You are laying down cable inside your own skull. Every rep is construction, and construction takes exactly the number of repetitions it takes, and not one fewer. Which means every single time you act without the feeling, you are not just doing a task. You are casting a vote for who you are. And here is the last one, the one that reframes everything. You have been telling yourself that discipline is hard and comfort is easy. Look properly, and it is not true. Discipline is hard, yes. The early alarm, the cold session, the work you did not feel like doing, that is hard. But now look honestly at the other road. Being unfit is hard. Being broke is hard. Being trapped in a life you did not choose, watching the years go by, knowing exactly what you should have done, and knowing you did not do it. That is devastating. Both roads are hard. You do not get an easy option. That was never on the menu. There is no version of your life that does not contain difficulty. The only thing you have ever been choosing is which hard you get, the hard that builds you, or the hard that slowly buries you. So let us go back to the question. If the feeling never comes, how do you do it anyway? Here it is. You stop treating the feeling as a requirement, That is the entire secret, and it is almost insultingly simple. Motivated people are not doing something you cannot do. They are not stronger than you, and they are not better made than you. They have simply stopped asking permission from a feeling before they act. The disciplined person feels exactly what you feel. The reluctance, the dread, the "I really don't want to." They feel all of it, and they get up anyway. Not because the feeling passed, because they never once believed it was in charge. And that is why the man who never feels motivated is often the most disciplined person in the room. He stopped waiting for something he had learned would never arrive, and started walking without it. Motivation is a passenger. It is welcome to come, but it doesn't get to drive, and it certainly does not get to decide whether the car moves. You are the driver. You always were. So tomorrow morning, the feeling will not be there. Understand that now, and stop being surprised by it. Stop treating its absence as a sign that something has gone wrong. Nothing has gone wrong. That is simply what tomorrow morning is. The alarm will go, and there will be no spark, no surge, no glorious readiness, just a warm bed, a cold room, and a small voice offering you an extremely reasonable excuse. And in that moment, you will not need motivation. You will need one thing only: to get up before the argument starts, because the decision was already made. It was made tonight, by you. And that man is not available for further discussion. You do not need to feel like it. You just need to go.